first things that they said is that ability to accept who you are right now, and that's how you become better. That's
Yeah.
that
Acceptance is
master.
massive. Acceptance is one of the biggest things that I had to take on. I hated the word acceptance. I was like, nah, I'm not accepting this. But then I learned that acceptance isn't accepting all of the beliefs that I have that come along with quadriplegia.
Yes.
You know, it's accepting that this is where I am now, and that I can't go back, and I can't, you know, I can't change things in the
Yes.
future now. But yeah, as I was saying before, and as you mentioned, that kind of idea of, you know, everyone's got this idea of, oh, if I get this, then I'll be happy. If
Yeah.
I can get this much money, then I'll be happy. If I can get this partner, then I'll be happy. What about now? What about just learning to be happy with what you've got, and not putting this kind of built up meaning on something happening in the future and assuming that we're all of a sudden going to be happy because of it, because it's not the case. I mean, sure, money, you know, the whole thing, you know, money doesn't buy happiness, but it can buy a boat, and a boat makes you happy, you know, that sort of thing. Like, sure, there is an element of like amount of pleasure and joy that can come from, you know, having money and resources and stuff. But there's an amazing quote. Now, I don't know the full quote properly, but it's out of a book called Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
Mhm.
And the main quote that I use from that, which ties in with what I'm about to talk about, is uh, the secret to happiness, you see, is not found in seeking more, but in developing the capacity to enjoy less. And I had to kind of like go over that a few times to really let it sink in, that, you know, at first I was like, what, how does having less make you happier? But it's not about having less, it's about the capacity that we have. And a part of that chapter as well in that book, that he talks about, you know, there are two ways to become rich. One is to get enough money to, you know, to do all the things that you want to do and have all the things that you want to have, or it's about adjusting our beliefs around, you know, what we want and what we think is going to bring us happiness, and, you know, that capacity to enjoy less. So like, you know, someone who lives off the land and lives out in the wilderness, and, you know, they don't need much to be happy. Like, sure, they could have everything in the world, and that may, you know, that they may be happy with that, but they could have nothing and they'd be happy as well. So it's not necessarily about, well, it's either about what, you know, how much money you have to be
Right.
able to buy the things you want, or it's about adjusting what you want and what fuels your happiness and what drives you, to then understand that I don't need all that money to be happy because I have everything I need. Um, but I mean, I've kind of butchered the way that he quoted it, but it's a really cool book. Probably my favorite book I've read is Way of the Peaceful Warrior.
Right.
Um, but yeah, there's just, it's this illusion that people buy into, that, oh, if I have this, I'll be happy. It's like, no, we gotta, happiness comes from within. Like, we gotta drive that from within ourselves, not
Yeah.
from exterior things.